Together, let's empower the next generation to drive positive change.
All right, many thanks, Ibrahim Hamidu, for that background report. And to begin our conversation on Nigerian students and national development, let me start by introducing Honorable Comrade Ashefo Sunday Dayo. He is Senior Special Assistant to the President on Student Engagement. It's a pleasure to welcome you to Good Morning Nigeria.
It's my pleasure to be here. Good morning.
And of course, we would have other guests join us in a bit, but let's just begin the conversation with you. Many will be wondering, students are dependent on those who cater for them. And then we're talking national development. So what's the place of students in national development?
Thank you so much. The students are very important to unlock the potential and to drive the economy of any nation. And as such, students are very key to transform. They are very key in developing a nation. And that is why you see my principal has always, his commitment towards the students, towards the education sectors, because he believes that the Nigerian student, with them, with the youth of this country, they believe then whatever any of agenda that is pushing with the student and youth play a very vital role supporting the agenda, because he believes they are the people that he will also hand over to. So that is why the president has been catering for the students of this country. And talking about students are very important in any society. They are very important in terms of development. They are very important in terms of driving the economy of the country. And virtually everywhere you see students. And as such, the current leadership of students we have in Nigeria today has been so wonderful in terms of supporting the government, in terms of also coming on board with different ideas on how they can drive the economy of this country, coming up with different ideas to also help the government and to also help their colleagues, who are particularly the primary school, the secondary school students, and even the tertiary institution students. The student leaders are also, they have been involving themselves in bringing things, trying to change the narrative, and that is why you could see that in recent time, the contribution and the support of the students to this present government is highly commendable.
All right. Many thanks for that background, Comrade Sunday Dayo. Of course, students play a big role in the development of a nation. But we know that Nigerian students face a lot of challenges. Could you highlight some of those challenges and what government is doing, to deal with the problems Nigerian students face?
Thank you so much. In every society, in every group, there has always been the challenges of this and that. And student is not different in terms of having one of two challenges. Today, the challenges I can think the Nigerian students facing is normal challenge that every individual, parent, youth which is you wake up in the morning, face the normal day routine, but to be realistic this time around, I think the government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has made things seamless. All these challenges to be seamless in terms of cater for the student. You see, in those days, the normal challenge that the student used to face is about this ASU strike, which a student who enrolled for 4 years course will turn to 7 years course, but today it's becoming a thing of the past. And they also, again, the normal challenges that Nigerian students, to be precise, used to face about someone getting admission into a university or college or polytechnics, and they are unable to complete their education because of the financial challenge, which this current administration has also come on board to rub those things off. And that is why we have the assisting the net fund, who is catering for those areas. And like we're also talking about transportation challenges on campus, which is also a major problem for students, you know. And the president also came on board to also said that, no, I think I also need to cushion this effect of transportation. And the president also came giving CNG buses to students to also cushion that effect. Like I have said, there is no way, even in life, even pastor will wake up, will have one or two challenges. Probably you want to meet up with preaching one side of the church, but you're unable to do so. Every human being will wake up with different challenges. But the major challenges that the Nigerian student used to face, today this government has, you know, has been able to, you know, at least, you know, put a stop to those things. And the student themselves, it is something that is feasible, that everybody can see, that the student can see. So it's not only in Nigeria here. If you look at the International Student Day we are celebrating today, there is something led to it. In 1939, something led to it. Students agitate, and as such, the government then they felt this agitation is becoming too arch. Some of the student leaders were arrested, some were executed, and at the end of the day, that does not mean they should come up again and still think there is need for them to celebrate the heroes who have passed, who have also led the struggle. So not only in Nigeria, there must be a challenge. There is no way, nobody is perfect. It's only God that is perfect. But I can tell you today, that is why you see in August protests that people are anticipating that students will do this. You know, they discovered that the students of Nigeria were so, you know, so supportive to the government in terms of saying that we cannot do any protest because we have never seen it this way before, because the kind of the government we are having now is government that open doors for students, the government that listen to students. So whenever they have issue, they run to my office. I take them to the Minister of Education, and if the minister cannot solve, we get to the appropriate quarter, and their matter is being resolved. So a lot of issues.
In the issues faced by Nigerian students, you have made you know, good points about, you know, the NEL fund trying to ease transportation and some of the other challenges. But you see, a major challenge for Nigerian students at the moment is the quality of education they get at whatever level, whether it is basic, whether it's secondary, whatever. You know, the quality has depreciated according to, you know, reports and statistics that we have. What is the government doing in that regard?
Thank you so much. Let me, like I have said, challenges is very, and that you also go to another dimension. But let me tell you, first and foremost, this present administration came on board and they felt that it's need, because it's overdue, it's long overdue. People have been agitating that it's need for us to change our curriculum. I get me, which the government felt, yeah, it's necessary. And I speak to you today that in Ministry of Education, by God's grace, by next year, we have a different curriculum that will match the 21st century of the education that everybody is expecting.
University curriculum?
the primary from the primary school, from the primary to the secondary and university. And I can assure you, and that is why when you look at that net fund, the president also give room for both. You know, that net fund, the net fund is not only for formal education, the informal education that the president also believe, okay, it's not everybody that have right, that wish to at least some would believe that they want to do skill acquisition, that is their interest. And the president also make provision for that. So if you believe that you don't want to go to university, you don't want to go to college or polytechnic, yes, you want to probably your face skill acquisition, you have one of two skills you want to develop, the president also make provision for that. And let me also tell you the curriculum that I'm talking about today, I can assure you by next year, different courses will be taken. Even from the primary school, now there is need for they have the curriculum have give room for machine learning, robotic, and cyber security that can meet up the standard. So that, and as at yesterday, the National Assembly, the House of Rep committee on there is 3 schools that will just be established now, and one of those schools is about skill acquisition. One is about skill acquisition. One is about this machine learning, cyber security. Want our students to have, even in public service today, you discover that majority of the work that most of people are doing is no longer these analog again. I get it. We are moving to the digital. So we also need to move with that. And to move with that, the curriculum needs to change. That has been done.
The curriculum changing. Is the government looking at equipping these schools? Because it's not just to have a curriculum on paper, it's to be able to execute and the students to get the knowledge required.
Thank you so much. Like let me say this. Let me say this. Everybody has his own mandate. UBEC has a mandate for junior secondary school. Today, my principal, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, among other presidents, well, let me start from 2014 to today. No other president who has invested in education like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
But some will argue that the value of investment at that time and now are not the same.
Let me say this. This president is someone who prepared to govern this country. The president believes that in as much as he's investing into the education sector through the third fund, the president also identified a key place where money is coming from the tertiary institution to the federal government. And before now, in every university or colleges of education or polytechnics owned by federal government, every 40% of the idea comes to the federal government. But the president also look at that, okay, irrespective of the fund that I'm injecting to the education, your university through third fund might not be enough. And the president said, okay, the 40% that you are bringing on board, stop. Don't bring it again. Then use that 40%, add it to the 60%, making 100%. To also do what? To equip our library, renovate our classroom, renovate the hostel where students stay so that they can feel as if they are the way other universities outside the country feel. When you get to the hostel, you believe you are a comfort place. And the president also identified, okay, there are some little things that they can also do with that 40%. Okay, you give it to them. This, I can say, it is indirect, giving them an autonomy to, develop their institutions. And like I have also said, the president also believes that, okay, some of them are saying because the management will be complaining, we are unable to get a quality lecturers. Most of our lecturers are living from one place to another because they are not being well paid. And the president also felt, what are these issues? UTAS and IPPS. And the majority of this is just that the president believes, okay, from henceforth, he also remove the tertiary institution from the IPPS. So you now see that the management of our school today are directly having that autonomy to employ and to also pay the staff what they deserved. under them, so that that quality education can be given. And let me also say this: it's only here, Nigeria. We don't. I'm sorry to say this. We don't appreciate things that we have. I'm starting to be corrected. If Nigerian is not giving quality education, why our graduates are hot cake outside the country? I'm starting to be corrected.
I can answer that.
Yeah, those who study medicine in Nigeria, if they get to UK, they get to Canada, they get to anywhere in the Europe, they take them, they don't want them to come back home. Why? If we are not giving best, if we are not giving, they don't have that quality education. They were not trained over there. They were trained here. Are you getting it? When you get to most of the hospitals over there, where series of operation is going on, if you see 3 doctors, I can assure you 2 will be Nigerian. Where did they train? They are all trained in that university that we also.
Now, while I'm not so pessimistic as to say that our education here is of no value, but I do know that there are factors responsible for that. You talk of shortage of manpower, most of these aging populations. You just want people to come in who are younger to fill the gap. And then when you come in, of course, there is a bit of retraining or reorientation to get you going. In any case, I appreciate the fact that you've articulated a lot of things that the government is doing to try to better the lot of students. But there's one thing, though. There is a cost of living crisis, which, what you could get for 10 kobo, for instance, in the last 6 months, 1 year, has become 30 kobo, 40 kobo. And I don't think that NEL Fund is set up to deal with this. So how is government trying to, because if a student is hungry, if a student is unable to cater for himself, I'm sure he won't be thinking about education. He will need to feed and stay alive first before talking education. So is government thinking towards this?
Thank you so much. Before I answer this, sometimes when I have, probably I read newspaper or, listen to news, I don't think our people are not reading this same thing that I'm reading. This issue you just mentioned is not only peculiar to Nigeria. It's a global. This issue we are talking about is a global issue.
But we are talking Nigeria.
I know Nigeria first, but this is a global issue. We all know that the president now is in the G20 summit, and when there is a global issue, Nigerian, you cannot remove Nigerian out of it. But let me go back to our question again. Today, NEFON is being established to cater for a better, education that the president believes that he don't want the student will not have an access to a quality education, that the student will, someone will wake up tomorrow, will have been a president of this country if the opportunity were there. So the president believes that he don't want a crime that, yes, I drop out of the university in 200 level because my parents are unable to pay for my fee. And the president also believes, that is why someone that is coming on board, that know what is coming to do. The president also understands that if your school fees is being taken care of, yes, like you've said, a student, when there is hunger, it will be very difficult for you to assimilate very well. And today, NEFON pay 20,000 naira every month for students they have captured. You can confirm. The data is there. And millions of Nigerians have been a beneficiary of this. Again, the National Association of Nigerian Students, that is the overall body of the students in the country, they came to my office, they said, Mr. President, their president and the Senate president came to me that they said they want to go and also agitate that this 20,000 is too small. They want to increase it. I said, Mr. President, yeah, You have the right to do that, but do it this way, do it this way. And you have a president that listens to the yearnings of students. But once you pass this through this way, I can assure you, things will be done. So automatically, for those that they are being captured, they give them 20,000 naira for upkeeping every month. And this NAS leadership is also agitating it should be increased to 40,000. That is that, by the way. And let me also tell you, sir, today, for everybody who wake up in his or her house, are definitely looking for what they will eat. And, if you don't work, you cannot get food. If you work, you get what you definitely eat. And the president, like I have said, knows that as a student, you cannot, his focus, his interest is you go to school and get educated and you concentrate on your study. And that is why the president is making provision for school fees, making provision for food, making provision for transport. So when you wake up and you are looking at how you want to trek, is also going to be a problem.
Tell us, how are these funds disbursed? You talked about upkeep, feeding, transportation, and then school fees. Is it disbursed as a whole,
no,
or monthly they get upkeep, or how do you go about it?
Thank you so much. As a student of any institution, you apply for net fund. Once you apply for net fund, the mode to apply is so easy, seamless, that once you apply your JAMB registration number, your admission letter, the course that you are doing, the amount you are paying in school is being put in there. Once those things is being captured, the net funds send it to school to confirm that this person is also a registered student of this institution. And once that is being confirmed, the school send it back to the net fund, and net fund now compare those lists. Then, okay, they send it back to the school. And once they send it back to the school, because the school will be the one to say someone who apply in social science, their school fees will be different for someone that apply in medicine. And those who apply in social science will also be different to those who apply in engineering. So their school fees is varied, it is everywhere. So that the school will be able to, okay, these people, this is amount they are paying. And once the NFON get that, they disburse the school fees directly to the account of the school. That upkeeping that I'm talking about, that is why students put their own account there, because there is a space for students to put their own account. The upkeeping of every month goes to the student account. And the students also have an access to apply for accommodation. Okay, you want to pay.
And it's also paid directly to the students?
The accommodation is paid directly to the school. The only money is being paid to the student is the upkeeping. So that is paid to the account of the Nigerian student.
All right, fantastic. It's important to also mention that this is not like a grant to the student. It's a loan, which they're expected to pay back. Okay, fine. We're talking about Nigerian students and national development. You're talking about what the government is doing to keep students in school and to get them properly educated. But, another major factor that is affecting how much students contribute, to national development is what happens after school. The unemployment rate in the country is increasing. At the moment, it's put at 5.3%. It's higher for females, put about 6-point-something%, and for male, 4-point-something. That is a factor as to, if all of these initiatives that the government is putting into the welfare of the students and, the academics of them would materialize to national development in the long run. Because imagine you finish school and then you can't secure a job. So, it's like going back to the street. So that's one. And then, is the government also looking at out-of-school children? Because, yes, we're talking about a number of people in school. That's less than those on the streets. Statistics says over 20 million at the moment. Is there anything the government is doing in this regard?
Thank you so much. Like I have said, this current administration has underscored the importance of students in national development, and as such, that is why the government led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing everything possible to make sure that you have a very solid foundation for Nigerian students, have a very solid foundation for the youths that will take over from him. He's a president that he believes that the best legacy he can give to this country is to build a successor generation. And building that, he can only see that from the student and youth. And when you look at the youth demography of this country, the student takes the largest percent of the youth demography. So the president is quite key, is committed to student and youth development. And go back to your question. This loan, like I have said, is not a grant, like you said, is a loan that has no interest. And I'm saying this to our parents, to our, our brothers, our cousins, guardians, that this loan has no interest. It's 0% interest. So don't be thinking of go and be taking money from Lapo, Bomulo Lanta, or all these mushroom, micro finance bank that they will give you money and they will now be disturbing your life. Stop go and collecting money from them. Let your son, your daughter approach Netfund. And, for a president.
Sorry, please. What's the number of people,
of
students captured by Netfund?
I'm coming. The president who said, okay, I'm giving you this loan. And he said that once you graduate, 2 years after, you'll be paying. And paying when you have a job. So the president knows that he cannot give you a loan without a job. And that is why the president is working assiduously to make sure that we create jobs, opportunity for young Nigerians who are ready to work with the government agencies, working with the ministries and processors. And the government is also doing everything possible through SMIDA, through Ministry of Trade and Investment, that if you also have, like I have said, a skill that you believe that you want to develop after school, you don't want to be, you want to work for yourself, you don't want to work for anybody, and that you can be working on your own and pay this loan back. And that is why the president, through Ministry of Youth, that we have what we call 2 skills, as in one student or one youth with 2 skills. And this means that the president is also investing through that to, when you after school you graduate, you want to be doing one of 2 things. You want to go into business, then you can also have an access to money there so that that loan can be paid back. And after 2 years, you don't have a job. They said you can approach court to swear affidavit that I never get job. So how am I going to pay? So automatically, if you don't have a job, you cannot pay back. So, and the president believes you paying back, that is where people coming behind you can have an access to it, so that that ministry, that agency will not die. So the president is doing everything possible, humanly possible, to make sure that we have jobs everywhere. As I speak to you today, within the 1 year of 1 year and 5 months of Ashwaju, I can attest to it. Those who want to do civil defense has opened their portal like 2 times. Police, fire service. As I speak to you, the FRIC just closed their portal. Go to Civil Service Commission today. Form is ongoing. Go to Ministry of Labour through the NTA. There are a lot of job opportunities ongoing everywhere. People are also moving. Those who are retiring, they are also filling the gap. Yes, and those who they are employing to these places are not the son or daughter of this president. They are not sons of daughter of. People used to say before that if you are not a family of a senator or a governor, you cannot get a job. This government is different, and that is why one of the reasons why I'm here today. We are celebrating academic excellence in International Student Day in 2024. We are taking it a new dimension because the president believes a son and a daughter of no person in this country can also have that access to the access that a son of a senator or a governor have in this country. That's why his daughter, a son of no person, can have that access, can have that opportunity. It's there. It's just what we just need is just to wake and to raise the consciousness of our people. There's a lot of scholarship abroad that is happening in everywhere. But the point, most of our young one again, that is why this reorientation of our students need to set in. And I thank God today. I just watched that the Sunday Daddy just I just watched Sunday Daddy. Former Minister of Youth has now been spokesperson to the president on reorientation. That is need for us to orientate our people towards our value, to understand what we are doing. I have a lot of students who have data on their phone. What they are using it for is TikTok or what have you. Why other people who are taking opportunity of scholarship, from TED Fund, from PTDF, from Nigerian Data Development Commission, and so on and so forth. A lot from NPC. There's a lot of scholarship, but these people are not, and people who are taking it are not different. They are not giving the session to anybody that you must be. So that is about that. So the president is working and is creating a liberal environment for people to get employed when you graduate. I get it. And sir, to your question, I so much believe that if today your question again, sorry.
Well, I had asked earlier the coverage.
Okay,
of
the coverage. As I speak to you today, yes, I cannot say authoritatively the numbers being captured, but I can say at least over 10, going to 15 or 20 million Nigerian students has been captured
by NELFund.
Yes.
All right. It will be good that you confirm that statistics.
Between 15 and 20.
Okay.
And as at last
that's
week,
a wide margin.
Yes, as at last week, the president of NANS, is because of my activities in Abuja here. The president of NANS, the net fund management, they were in the northwest sensitizing students on this net fund, telling them how to apply. You know how much Maduguri Unimade got. You know how much UI got. I get him. At the time, they said South and Southeast they are not being captured. But today, a reasonable number of institutions in the South and Southeast has been captured. And people are celebrating this. And that is why you see the students are now seeing that, yes, they have a president who indeed is interested in their well-being and their development, who is giving that access, who is giving that opportunity for them to drive. When you give an education, you give access to education, you have it's just if you give water, you have given life. And so they have seen a president who has opened that door for them to be educated. So that is why the students everywhere appreciate this president. And what we are about to do tomorrow is also, to thanks and to appreciate the president, for giving access to Nigerian students. And are you getting me? So this year, International Student Day is about celebrating, celebrating the Mr. President. Thanks the Mr. President for giving us this. And we have never had it so good in Nigeria.
As at last month, the MD of NELFund was talking about, the chief executive was talking about up to 350,000 applications. And so, of course, you have also placed a caveat that you can't speak authoritatively regarding the coverage, but that's to make it straight. But I wanted to refer you again back to, the issue of the capacity to pay. Now, you have also agreed that if you don't have a job, you cannot pay. And then all the jobs you have listed are government. Government employs, the number of people captured by government employment, doesn't even scratch the surface of the teeming unemployed. And so we will be talking more about creating the enabling environment so that private organizations can take on board the teeming unemployed. Government can't take just a paltry that government can take.
Thank you so much. You are a civil servant today. The majority of our PAMSEC directors, deputy directors, if everybody is saying they don't want to work with the government, would they be that director, PAMSEC, deputy head of service, and what have you? And yes, I also agree with you, the private sectors. And I have equally mentioned here that the president has also opened doors that if also you felt after school, even when you are in school, you must learn a skill.
So you can be self-employed.
Are you getting me? It is now very, very important now that while you are in school, you also have a skill that you are doing. So when you graduate, you will be self-employed. So that, like I have said, on your own, when you have what you are doing that is giving you money,
You can pay back.
Let's take a look. A rep member pay back the loan he took in 1978. And as at that time, the loan was just 1,000 plus. And he said in his testimony that if that loan was not given then, probably he would not be where he is today. Today he's a serving rep member because he have the certificate.
Of course, we appreciate.
Are you getting me?
All right.
And
Because
he
of
has paid
time.
back. He just paid back because
good.
he said he will have paid back, but that is the body that gave that money then has been scrapped. But he believes that.
I hope Nelfon will not be scrapped by the time
No,
people
no,
are ready
no,
to pay.
no,
Okay,
no.
fine. Okay,
That
fine.
was military regime.
Now it's time to go because of time. Really, we'd like you to tell us what you're having tomorrow, and then just quickly tell us what government is doing just to ensure that the Japa phenomenon, doesn't catch up with the people who are benefiting from. The government, Nelfond at the moment, what you're doing just so that you can keep them within the country and of course promote national development. And then tell us about your program tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Let me start by this Japa syndrome. Well, the president is someone that believes that, yes, you can exploit. He's a man that, when we have a president who understands what it takes, the president believes as a Nigerian student, you can, Nigerian youth, if you think you want to live, to go and exploit, and fine, it's a good one. And the president, what the president now said is, I will make Nigeria a place for you, that when you are there, you have no cause to say you want to stay there. You have to come back to Nigeria. So that is what the president is working. The president is working towards a country that everybody, wherever you have Japa, you have reason to say, I want to come back to Nigeria. And that we will start seeing the manifestation of all these by next year. Let me say this. Most of our colleagues are friends. It's only if they are not telling you the truth. What they are passing through over there, some of them will tell you. I have a friend that just came home recently. He said, it's not easy. We can be making the money. Oh, if you have any one of them, ask them to send you 50,000 naira. It's always difficult for them to send money here because they will tell you the bill they are paying, the tax they are paying. So they will tell you the analysis of the money they are taking and how the tax is also taking it from them. So they will tell you that the best place for them to stay now is Nigeria. I get him. And you see, they also find their way to come. So that is the president is doing. And towards our program tomorrow, like I have said, tomorrow is to celebrate an academic excellence, to celebrate the commitment, the achievement of Nigerian students, and to also celebrate the president who has given this environment, this enabling environment for Nigerian students to thrive, and to also celebrate our best brain. Like I have said, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is someone who encourage, best brain, who encourage people who are doing well, who excel in their field of study. I get him, and that is what we are doing. By God's grace, we'll be giving 6 fully funded scholarship, postgraduate scholarship, 6, 1 per geopolitical zone, and we have 6 zones in this country. Tomorrow, by God's grace, the university have sent the names of the overall best graduate students. What the president is doing through my office is for your candle, the candle you are burning, to read, and for you to be an overall student in your university. That candle will not be wasted. So we have identified that, and that is why we are celebrating. So it will now serve an encouragement that, okay, tomorrow to other students. We also go to the extent that even the law school, now the DG has sent the name. A lady was the overall student in the 2022-2023 academic session in law school. who is best graduating student. We're also celebrating them.
right.
We're also celebrating the overall JAMB score in 2024 student. Even the secondary school student, the Bells Wahik, the Bells Neko. So we want to make sure that in Nigeria, we have a president that is looking into this. We have a president that encourage your
Academic
effort,
excellence.
that your efforts. I just see me in why you are, in your efforts while pursuing your academic activities on campus.
All right, because
we
of
have
time.
the president who recognizes that.
Thank you so much. Because of time, I think we'd have to leave the conversation at this point. Many thanks.